Hello and welcome to the very first RIZEN Pro Wrestling Hype Show. I'm Jonas from the Wrestling with Jonas podcast, and I'm joined today by my ever-lovely co-host, Magic Martin, the voice of wrestling. Martin, great to have you on the very first RIZEN Hype Show. How are you doing this evening?
I'm very, very well, and I'm very excited to be here, Jonas. It's an absolute pleasure, and we've got a really stacked card coming your way on January the 25th, so it's great to talk about it.
Absolutely. We're going to be having a look. We're going to be breaking down all the matches that have been announced. We've got plenty of fun to be had over the next 45 minutes or so. And we've got a special guest that's going to be joining us, Martin. But I may well kind of give our viewers at home a little bit more information as to who that guest might be a little bit later on. And I'm sure when he does get on the screen, he's going to be loud and proud, flashing his cash about. Did I give away too many hints there? But let's talk about the show, shall we? Now, this is going to be the 8th offering from RIZEN Pro Wrestling, and here are the details there. January the 25th, and on the screen there you will not only see all the details, but you will see the barcodes that you can scan now. Get your phones out, scan the QR codes. That will take you straight through to the website where you can get your tickets or get your family bundles. It's a family-friendly show, Martin, so a great opportunity to get the family down there, get all the family down there, or just simply go to wegottickets.com/RizenPW, and like I say, or just scan the barcode on screen. But if you are watching us live or watching us at home on YouTube or across RIZEN socials, firstly, thank you so much. But if you are new to RIZEN Pro Wrestling, then we're going to give you a little bit of an introduction to what they're all about. But first of all, Martin, thank you so much for coming on the Hype Show, and hopefully we're going to do many more of these, my friend. But give us a quick introduction, because you are not only the MC, but the GM of RIZEN, I understand. Tell us about it.
Yes, the management of RIZEN Pro Wrestling recently gave me some degree of authority, because essentially we've been having a lot of problems with the wrestlers backstage. Generally in the ring, things are pretty much on the level, but I was actually getting attacked myself by some of the wrestlers backstage. So from having a little bit of sway, it was decided that I should have some authority. And as such, I have already had to suspend 2 wrestlers. That is William Corson from the Echoes of Darkness and his former tag team partner, Sean McKenzie. They've both been interfering in matches, and unfortunately, I did have to put the hammer down, so to speak.
Well, let's see some of that authority that you have from the last show. And here you are with Sean McKenzie and the words that you had to say to him.
Look, I understand what you did. I understand you've got an issue with William Corson, and I do appreciate you've got out from under his wing. I do appreciate that. But you can't be interfering in matches.
Look, Martin, look, I get it, okay? I grabbed you by the collar at the Andel Centre. But you saw what happened at the last show. You saw what happened in the Hamworthy Club. He took his chain, he took it to my face, and then he drove my head into it. He embarrassed me in front of everyone at the Hamworthy Club.
Okay, I want to find a middle ground if we can. But unfortunately, due to you interfering in an advertised match, I have to suspend you. But I want you to be in a match with William Corson sooner rather than later. So, take a little break. It's nearly Christmas. Get in the gym, get working out, because you are in for the fight of your life.
Now,
Yes,
Martin, Sean McKenzie seemed quite understanding of your kind of actions there, but you did tell him at the end of that little conversation to get into shape because he is heading for the fight of his life. So, well, can you kind of let any cats out of the bag? What was you alluding to there? And when might we see Sean McKenzie again in a RIZEN ring?
Well, as I said, there's been a lot of interference in the matches, not just in each other's matches, but also in the women's championship scene as well. William Corson, he has recently allied himself with the Duchess, and of course, William Corson interfered in the match with Lily May. It makes sense. We've got 2 women, we've got 2 men. We're going to have ourselves a mixed tag team match, and that is when they're both out of suspension coming in March. Now, I have been following Sean McKenzie on social media, and he has been working out. He has put on probably best part of a stone in lean muscle. He's looking in the best shape of his life. And yeah, that's going to be a big match at our next event, which will be coming up in March.
Fantastic. We'll look forward to that, and just stay tuned to to RIZEN socials to find out where and when that's likely to be happening. But before we talk about the matches that's going to be taking place very, very soon, January the 25th, we do have a little bit of a highlight reel for you to give you a little bit of a flavour, give you a little bit of a taste about what RIZEN Pro Wrestling is all about. Here we go. Now, Martin, those were highlights from the last show at the back end of last year, November, I believe. But it demonstrates that to RIZEN, although be it they're a fairly new promotion on the scene, but they do offer a lot of fantastic action for all the family with some great up-and-coming young stars and established stars from around the UK. Tell us a little bit more about RIZEN from your experience, and so what sort of action it offers if you get your get yourself down to a RIZEN show anytime in the future.
Well, in my opinion, RIZEN Pro Wrestling is the best kept secret on the South Coast. In fact, at the last show, our fan base has grown to such an extent, we had to actually put in extra chairs in the room. We had to dust off any chair we could find in the building. What we have at RIZEN is a combination of new up-and-coming stars and existing talents, because we have a very good working relationship with All Star South. All Star South, if you don't know, is run by All Star Promotions, one of the longest running promotions in the UK, and it features some of the very best trainers that there are on the British scene, including the man who is arguably the most well-traveled wrestler in British wrestling right now, which is Joel Redman. He's their head trainer, and what we get from RIZEN Pro Wrestling is an opportunity for these all-star talents to cut their teeth, to have a bit of time in front of a live audience and really make a name for themselves. And I'm hugely proud of every show we put on, because, you know, we're able to book world-class events. Like the main event of the last show was Joel Redman, you know, former NXT champion, former Noah wrestler, against Niwa, who is arguably the best import wrestler in the UK at the moment, for the Maori warrior from New Zealand. That could be a main event of any show across the UK, and that's the kind of action you can see in RIZEN.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about some of the matches on offer, because we've got 6 matches to talk about, Martin, and this will be the first of them. And we're going to be talking about the Retro Dude, Rudy Root versus Ben Vicious. And of course, I'm going to bring up this picture here of when Ben Vicious turned heel at the last show. But this match here, Rudy Root, the Retro Dude versus Ben Vicious, is going to be kicking us off tonight. What can you tell us about these two individuals, and what type of match are we likely to see on January the 25th?
Now, Ben Vicious is someone who has really had something of a metamorphosis over the last few shows. Known for a long time as Ben Taylor, lovely guy, fun-loving. The fans loved him. he decided to tap into a sort of a darker side of himself. He became Ben Vicious once again. Ben Vicious was a name he used many years back. And Ben Vicious seems to be an entirely different beast. He's able to be more aggressive and, dare I say it, more dangerous. So when you're faced with someone who is a big bad of British wrestling, you need to find the brightest shining star you can. And someone who really is making a name for himself in the South Coast wrestling scene is the retro dude, Rudy Root. If you haven't seen him yet, he started off wrestling in the Isle of Wight scene and has recently set up his own promotion called Phoenix Pro Wrestling. And now you'll see him across posters up and down the country. As I say, one of the brightest shining stars in the British wrestling scene. Fantastic high flyer, huge packed charisma.
Oh, charisma all day long. And I've seen Rudy Root wrestle a number of times throughout 2024. Such a fantastic character, great charisma, really, really excellent in the ring. And you're definitely going to get a fantastic display there. Possibly, differing dynamics between the two there, but definitely a fun one there to look forward to. Rudy Root versus Ben Vicious. And next, I want to talk about a very interesting match that we're all looking forward to. Now, I am a huge fan of tag team wrestling. And when I saw that this one was announced, I was very, very excited indeed. But there has been some minor changes because of the Swift Sensations, after recently winning the championships at their last show, there has been a slight change to what we might see at the next show in January the 25th. And to tell us all about it, we do have one half of the current RIZEN Tag Team Champions.
RIZEN Wrestling fans, is one half of your Tag Team Champions, Jimmy Swift, coming to you with some unfortunate news that my tag team partner Cameron Harper will no longer be wrestling with me to defend these belts January 25th in Hamworthy. However, RIZEN management have given me an opportunity, and an opportunity is all I need. They've given me a chance to handpick and select a new partner to help me defend these belts. So I've laid the cards down on the table and I've looked at them and I've viewed them all. I've looked up and down the country to try and find an up-and-coming star to help me defend these belts. And I've narrowed it down to one. Hammerhead Smith Jr. and Joe Murphy. 25th of January was going to be tough for you already, but now, with me and my new partner, it's going to be Swift.
RIZEN fans and RIZEN management, this goes out to you. So listen up clearly. Ever since I've made my debut at RIZEN, time and time after again, I have proven why I am a second generation wrestler. I have proven why I am the next big thing in this business. But I've had to pander to you fans each and every single time. And for what? For what? For people like Joel Redman, people like Niwa, people like Lucian Phillips to come in and steal the spotlight that should be on me. Because every single time that I come to RIZEN, you fans, I have to pander to you to get your respect, to get your support. Well, that stops right now. Because on January 25th, Hammerhead Smith Jr. is going to be returning once again to RIZEN for one thing only, and that is to make a statement, not just to you, RIZEN management, but to the fans as well. Trust me, there's going to be no Mr. Nice Guy this time.
Now, I'm not going to lie. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. This is actually very disappointing for me. It really is, because not talking about Jimmy Swift and his tag team partner. Injuries happen. We will sort that out. We've had injuries in the tag team division before. We'll work through that. What worries me is Hammerhead Smith. Now, Hammerhead Smith was my chosen champion. When I was having issues with William Corson, I said to William that I was going to lay the hammer down. So I called in Hammerhead Smith. He's one of the best hard-hitting high flyers in the UK scene today. And every time he's been at RIZEN, the fans have loved him. He doesn't need to pander to the fans. He's naturally a very, very charismatic and very popular athlete. So for him to suddenly decide that he's going to have this attitude adjustment, this seems to have come out of nowhere to me. Okay, he wants to be the bad guy. Fine, you play the bad guy. But he's definitely going to have his work cut out since he's facing not just one incredible high flyer, but also a mystery partner as well.
Absolutely. And Jimmy Swift told us in his own words that he's going to be bringing along a mystery tag team partner to help defend the RIZEN Tag Team Championships in just a few days' time, January the 25th. But let's bring up that graphic one more time, because you've got Joe Murphy and Hammerhead Smith Jr. facing Jimmy Swift and his new partner, whoever that might be, on January the 25th. But that is going to be a fantastic match. And it's going to be a little bit of a surprise for Hammerhead Smith Jr. And Joe Murphy there. And they better not underestimate Jimmy Swift 1 second, because I think, they've got the bit between their teeth. He's the new tag team champions. He's going to want to hold on to that gold, Martin. And we will see. And you can be a part of it. Just simply scan the barcodes on the screen or go to wegottickets.com/RizenPW, and you'll be transported to the website where you can get your ticket or tickets today. And of course, as Martin rightly said at the top of this show, it is a family-friendly show. So take the kids, take the grandparents, take mum and dad, take everybody, because you're going to absolutely be spoiled for choice with some fantastic wrestling action with some of the best talent from the Southwest and around the UK. Let's move on, because we've got more matches to talk about. How about this one here for the Women's Championship? Armina Lilly makes her RIZEN debut, Martin, and takes on the current Women's Champion, Luna Trix. And there's a few pictures from the last show when Luna Trix was in a three-way. And a hell of a match, hell of a competition. But there you are with your new RIZEN Women's Champion, Luna Trix, looking very pleased with herself after that triple threat match, Martin. But a hell of a match and a hell of an opponent in the shape of Armina Lilly on January the 25th.
Yes, Luna Trix, I've known for many, many years, working for many different promotions with her. She is, again, another lady, much like Rudy Root, who has come up through the Isle of Wight scene and taken the South Coast by storm. And at the last show, she had a real fight on her hands with that triple threat match. But it was able for us to determine and crown a first ever champion. She's our inaugural champion, and she's got a really tough challenge ahead of her, going against the lady known as the Huntress. Yeah, Armina Lilly has declared 2025 the year of the Huntress. And now, I personally have not seen her in the ring. Now, I know, John, as you have worked with her in the past, and she's something of a powerhouse women's wrestler. Is that right?
She is. She's a formidable opponent for anybody facing her across the ring. I think Luna Trix is going to have a tough challenge on her hands to retain her championship on the first defense, but it's going to be a hell of a competition. And I think these two contrasting styles, Martin, are going to put on a fantastic competition for the fans of RIZEN on January the 25th. But Armina Lilly is definitely going to be looking to make a mark on the RIZEN fans in the RIZEN ring and to take home the RIZEN gold. And I'm going to bring up that graphic one more time, because the championship belt is absolutely stunning, my friends. As are all the championships. A beautiful championship there.
Really beautiful. Yeah, it's purple and white with that wings diamond. I'm a huge fan of this championship. Luna Trix, she's a great lady, and she's a real fun-loving, big fan favorite. But the problem is, I think she's got to take this match seriously. She can't come out dancing and laughing and hugging the audience. She's got to focus on the challenge ahead of her, and the Huntress is going to be a challenge, that's for sure.
Absolutely. And what about this one here? We've got to talk about the Beach Ball Brawl. Jack Torino versus Hawaiian Damien. Now, this is certainly a version of Damien I've never seen before. But for proof, there you are, seeing Damien in a Hawaiian shirt and a Hawaiian skirt. Martin, you're going to have to fill us in here. I don't know if this is the family-friendly version of Damien. Certainly a version I've never seen before.
Hawaiian Damien is real. It's not an illusion. It's real. Now, one of our top tag teams for the last few years was the Wild Boys. Now, the Wild Boys had a kind of a rolling roster of talent, depending on who was or not injured at the time. Now, our reigning tag team champion was Rusty Jack, and Rusty Jack was looking for a tag team partner, and little did we know that he was able to drag from the gates of hell this fruity flavor of Damien. And yeah, Hawaiian Damien there with the Hawaiian lace, the shirt, the grass skirt, and even though this is a slightly shinier version of Damien, no doubt still just as dangerous, still 6'5", still 350 pounds, still one of the most violent wrestlers in the UK scene, but he just enjoys a glass of fruit punch from time to time. Now,
He's not going to hit any softer just because he's wearing a grass skirt. I can tell you that for sure. And his chops are devastating.
most definitely. Now, Jack Torino. Jack Torino is someone I actually have to pick a bone with because he's a chap who, again, I've seen he's done very good things on the South Coast scene. I'm seeing his face on posters all across the UK. He comes to RIZEN, doesn't introduce himself, doesn't tell the audience who he is. He expects them to know who he is. And he comes in here and distracts Hawaiian Damien. He calls out Hawaiian Damien. I don't know whether Jack Torino has a death wish, but he comes out wearing this stupid hat and a stupid shirt, and he calls out Hawaiian Damien. Hawaiian Damien chases Jack Torino to the back, leaving Rusty Jack on his own to be decimated by the system. The system won with about 3 moves, I think. 1, 2, 3 new champions. So, of course, Damien wants revenge. Jack Torino, he's got his own ideas.
Absolutely. Well, Jack Torino was kind enough to send us his own little video to explain his actions looking ahead to his match with Hawaiian Damien. Here we go.
Hello there, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen of RIZEN. I am the girthy rhino, Jack Torino. Boom. And I am the sole reason that the Wild Boys lost the RIZEN Tag Team Championships last show. Take a look. With you, Ross! I got a problem with Wasn't that great? Wasn't that great? I mean, I laugh, but I'm just spitting facts. It's true. I am better than Hawaiian Damien at everything. I'm better at him at wrestling, better at him at swimming, better at him at limbo, better at him at chess, better at him at hula hooping. We all know better than him at hula hooping. I could beat him at anything, especially in a fight. Hell, I don't even need any proper weapons, bruv. I could beat him with all the inflatables. All around the world, I could beat him so bad, and he'll be like going there crying to his little goth money. Oh no, stop, the girthy rhino's too much for me. So this is what I'm going to do, Damien. I'm going to challenge you right here, right now, January 25th in Hemsworth Pool to a beach ball brawl. What do you say? Let's say that you haven't got the beach balls to step into the ring with me. Do you want to know why? Do you want to know why? Do you want to know why? Because you are nothing but a big beach. Boom.
Wow, Jack Torino. It's actually worthy, my friends, in Pool. But never mind. And like I say, I don't want to pick a fight with him because I'll be seeing him at the show. But he says he's better than Damien at hula hooping, swimming, chess, and all them activities. But he needs to be better at wrestling and the beach baller brawl. Well, I don't know whose wheelhouse or who will have the advantage there, but there may be more than just beach balls on offer for that match. But we thank Jack Torino for sending us that video. It's going to be a very interesting match indeed, Martin.
Now, I don't know whether the hat was a little too tight and was cutting off the blood to his brain, but he doesn't realize what he's just done. Sure, okay, it's a beach ball brawl. There'll be inflatables, there'll be palm trees, that sort of thing. But he's essentially challenged Damien to an Extreme Rules match. Ooh. He may not realize it. He may think it's all fun and colorful and happy, jolly fun. It's not. He's in for the fight of his life. And now, I'm aware that Jack Torino has got a history in hardcore wrestling. This is the guy that challenged Twitch the Clown to a barbed wire death match in Kapow Wrestling. So maybe all the fun and frolics, you know, the strawberry hat maybe this is all a smokescreen. Maybe Jack Torino is more dangerous than we realize. And maybe this could be a fight for the ages.
Maybe we will see. And you could be a part of it in January the 25th. And at the St. Michael's Church in Hamworthy, Paul, is where you need to be. Details are scrolling along the bottom of the screen as far as where you can get your tickets or your family ticket. But also there's QR codes. The barcodes on the screen. Get your phones out now. Scan those. It will take you straight to RIZEN socials and where you can get the tickets. So don't delay. January the 25th is where you want to be in Hamworthy in Poole. And here's a nice old graphic there featuring a lot of the talent that's going to be involved, all the details, and of course that lovely QR code. Let's talk about this gentleman here, because you mentioned Joel Redman as the founder, the owner of ASW South down in Salisbury, and one of the best coaches and one of the best pro wrestlers on the scene today. Traveled all around Japan and America. Obviously one half of the very first NXT Tag Team Champions, if you weren't already aware. But a world-travelled performer, one of the very best, not just in the UK. Let's be honest, Martin, he's world-class. He's world-class. But we will see him in action on January the 25th. You must be very excited to see him back in a RIZEN ring. The last time we saw him, he had a fantastic, very competitive, a highly competitive match against somebody that he knows very well in the shape of Niwa. And it was a hell of an encounter. Joel Redman came out on top. But who, Martin, might he face next?
Well, that is the question. Now, RIZEN Pro Wrestling, as I've said, we're the best kept secret in British wrestling. We may be very, very small. We may be very independent, but we bring you the best wrestlers in the world. And when you're looking at that top 10 ranking, you've got to put Joel Redman there because, right, yes, he's an incredibly well-accomplished wrestler, but also he's an incredible trainer because he's been trained by the best. He was in Noah Pro Wrestling with Misaharu Misawa and Kenta Kobashi. He was in NXT with the American Dream Dusty Rhodes. He has been around the very best in the business. And look at the guy. He is an absolute mountain of muscle. So for any person that is going to be facing him one-on-one in a RIZEN ring, they are going to face the very best in the business. If you can stand toe-to-toe with Joel Redman, you have proven that you are worthy of your spot in British wrestling. And I think that this will be an opportunity for Joel to go around the academy, find a hand-picked opponent and say, this is your time to shine. Let's see how you can go against the teacher.
There we go, January the 25th. And details are scrolling along the bottom of the screen. And you can see who Joel Redman, one of the very best in the business, will be facing from Hamworthy in Poole. But we've got to talk about our main event now. Now, originally, Martin, this was the graphic that we were greeted by on our socials, the one-man armory versus Benjamin Stone. But more recently, there have been kind of shenanigans afoot from a certain big money Bobby Vegas, and we've got the gentleman that's going to be joining us very, very soon. But first of all, let's see how this match all came about.
So, I was thinking, I support Manchester United. I know you support Manchester United. That means we're basically on the same team.
Name one member of that team.
Martin Rashford.
Marcus Rashford.
Yep. So as we're on the same team, between me, you, and Arsene Wenger. Arsene Ferguson. How about this, right? You've got a title shot with Ben Stone at RIZEN Wrestling on January 25th. But what would you rather have? A title shot with Ben Stone or £10,000?
£10,000.
Check your PayPal. Go on.
Yeah.
We got a deal? I take your spot, so it's Bobby Vegas versus Ben Stone for the RIZEN Championship.
Easy. 10 grand.
Pleasure doing business with you. Hey, can I jump in for a spot?
You sure?
Say less, blood.
Oh, God. God, you really are a Man United fan, aren't you?
Ever since the days of Thierry Henry.
It's Arsenal.
Yeah. All right, set number 1.
So, Martin, we now know that the main event has changed to January the 25th. It's now Big Money Bobby Vegas versus the RIZEN champion Benjamin Stone. And we like to have guests on these hype shows, and we have a guest with us right now. None other than Big Money Bobby Vegas joins us on the very first RIZEN Pro Wrestling hype show. Mr. Vegas, thank you so much for joining us this evening. It's a pleasure and a delight, as always. But first of all, I mean, you saw the video there. Can you explain your actions as to why you wanted to buy your way into this championship match?
Well, first of all, hello, Johners. It's always necessary to see you. And Magic Martin Rowe, always, a thing when you're here. Thank you for having me on whatever this is. What was your question again?
Why did you feel it necessary to buy your way into the championship match, my friend? £10,000.
Nothing's necessary, is it? I mean, £10,000 is not much to me, to be honest. I mean, here's the thing. I'm a nice man, and I can relate to a lot of your listeners. I've been, on hard times before. I remember once I was down to my last 3 houses. But here's the thing: £10,000 to me isn't an awful lot. It's fun money, right? So what I want to do, I just want to have a little bit of fun with Benjamin Stone. Now, I respect the boy. He's a nice lad. He's a hard worker. He's a good wrestler. But he's got something that I want. I quite like the look of the gold. And I want that. So why work hard for things when you can just buy them? Which is why I went to my good friend Bullet, and I offered him the opportunity to sell his title match to me. And he did. So that's what's happening now. Me versus Benjamin Stone. Why? Because I can.
Let me ask you, what do you know about your opponent? Because Benjamin Stone, he's a fighting champion. He's been a fighting champion for RIZEN, and he was expecting to have a match against the one-man armory Bullet, and now he's having to change his plans. The game plan is having to change, and now he's facing yourself, Mr. Vegas. What can the fans and maybe Benjamin Stone expect on January the 25th?
Well, first of all, the fans can expect nothing but class and raw sex appeal. But as for Benjamin Stone, I've known the lad for a while. He obviously goes to ASW South, where I myself am one of the attendees, one of the trainers in terms of the character and promo development classes, which you can attend every Saturday at 12 p.m. But nonetheless, I digress. Benjamin Stone, he's a good fighter. He's a good lad. He's got heart, which for some reason people like you seem to value. But here's the thing. He's not got what I've got, which is the desire and the will to do whatever it takes to win. Look at how I got here. I took what I have, which is my money, and I used that to get myself an opportunity. That's the kind of guy I am. Benjamin Stone fights with honor, and that's what's going to hold him back. His honor is going to hold him back from walking out of there with that championship. And my willingness to do what it takes to get the job done, that's the reason I'm leaving with the belt. So what does Ben Stone have to expect? Everything. Everything from me that it's going to take to walk out with that belt. I've not got a problem with Ben Stone. I think he's a nice guy, so it's almost a shame that I'm going to take this away from him. But I'm gonna. And that's life. I don't care what his plans are. I don't care what his desires were to walk out of there with a championship. This is about my plan. The Bobby Vegas plan. And the Vegas plan is always leave with the gold. And that's what's happening.
Now, that's the problem with plans, isn't it? Now, we had plans. We had plans for a wonderful championship match, Benjamin Stone against Bullet, one of the best heavyweight wrestlers in, the Britain, nay, the world. And now you come here and you flash the cash and you decide to make this all about you, all about Bobby Vegas. Now, tell me, Bobby, how is your neck? How's your C4 vertebrae? Because I don't know if you know about Benjamin Stone. He's the plexin pitbull. He loves dropping people on the back of their neck. How do you enjoy taking suplexes, Bobby? Because you're going to have a lot of suplexes in your future.
First of all, lower your voice. Okay, let's keep this calm. Let's all stay friendly. I'm not the one you're fighting, Martin, so let's all calm down. I know Ben likes a suplex, but here's the thing. I'm a 23 stone man. I don't know if you've seen Ben Stone. He's a strong lad for his size, but there's the key. He's a strong lad for his size. You know what I mean? I've got a good 5 inches on his height, and I've got a good 6 or 7 stone on his weight. So if he can suplex me, bully for him. But I'm a betting man, as you know, and I'm not betting on that. I'm not betting on him being able to suplex big money Bobby Vegas. If he can do that, then fair play to him. But I don't bet on it. And as for my vertebrae, as for my neck is fine. And by the way, thank you both for asking about my torn bicep. It's all healed very nicely now, and I'm ready to go. You want to talk to me about his suplexes? How about we talk about my right hand? How about we talk about my clotheslines? Because he's not going to be able to suplex me if I take his head off with a clothesline. He's not going to be able to suplex me if I knock his teeth out with my right hand. He's not going to be able to do anything if I hit him with Viva Splash Vegas, because that's 23 stone crashing down on top of him. And let me tell you something, Magic Martin. You raise your voice to me again, it'll be you taking that. I'll lie you down. I don't care if you're not a fighter or not a competitor, and God knows you're not, but I will lie you down and you will take that. Do not raise your voice to me again, Sunshine. All right? Don't do it. I know everyone thinks that I'm the fun one, that I'm the funny one, but I'm not that guy really. So let's not push it ever again. All right? I like you, and let's keep it that way. All right, Sunshine?
Bobby, I think you've clearly demonstrated that you're a serious threat to Benjamin Stone's RIZEN Championship, and you certainly seem very, very focused, very, very determined to walk out of Hamworthy on the 25th as the new champion. But let me ask you, if you've got any final words for your competitor, any final words for the current RIZEN champion, Benjamin Stone, what would they be?
Life goes on. You'll have other opportunities. You can come back. You can go back and train some more. Go back and train with Joel Redmond some more. Go back to ASW South, and maybe you'll get another chance at this. But it's not happening. This weekend, next weekend, is my weekend. That belt that's currently yours is going to be mine. And it's okay to accept that now in order to get over it more quickly. The grief process is as quick as you are. So the quicker you accept it, the quicker you'll get over it. Big Money Bobby Vegas is the next champion, and you are the next ex-champion.
Bobby Vegas, it's been a pleasure as always. Thank you so much for coming on the very first RIZEN Pro Wrestling Hype Show, and we can't wait to see you and your match against Benjamin Stone on January the 25th.
Cool.
Thank you very much, my friend. There we go. And big words from Big Money Bobby Vegas. And I think that sets us up nicely. I don't think we could have done a better job at getting our appetites whetted for that match, Martin. And what a match it's going to be. And it's going to be this one here, of course. It was originally a different match, but now Bobby Vegas has flashed his cash, and he now takes on as the challenger Benjamin Stone, the RIZEN champion. Could we see a new champion on January the 25th, Martin?
Well, he's flashed his cash. He has bought his opportunity. That's all he's bought. He hasn't bought the belt. He hasn't bought the win. So he's got to actually put his money where his mouth is if he's going to beat the Plexin Pitbull.
There we go. But a hell of a show. Let's just have a bit of a recap as far as some of the matches that you have to look forward to in just a few short days' time. Of course, Rudy Root to be taking on Ben Vicious in what will be a fantastic contrast of styles, but a wonderful display of professional wrestling for the RIZEN fans.
It'll be high-flying cruiserweight action against heavy-hitting heavyweight action.
No doubt, no doubt. We've got the women's championship match, Armina Lilly versus the current champion, Luna Trix, who won that tremendous triple threat match at their last show.
Indeed. If you haven't checked it out already, head over to our YouTube channel where you can see all the action.
Absolutely. And this match here, there's a bit of a tweak to the lineup, but we know that Jimmy Swift will find a mystery tag team partner to take on Joe Murphy and a Hammerhead Smith Jr. We heard from both competitors earlier on. This, Martin, will be a fantastic tag team championship match, no doubt.
Indeed. Look, whether it's a new champion or whether it's establishing a new tag team, we are going to have two men standing tall, holding those championships and declaring themselves the best tag team in RIZEN.
Absolutely. And what about this one here? The Beach Ball Brawl. Jack Torino, we heard from him earlier. Fighting words, but does he quite know what he's letting himself in for when he takes on Damien? Dare I say it, Hawaiian Damien on January the 25th.
Indeed, the Beach Ball Brawl. First time ever. This is a match that's going to go down in RIZEN wrestling history.
And you got one of the very best in the UK, one of the very best in the world, Joel Redman. We saw him at the last show take on Niwa. We're going to see him back in action. Opponent yet to be decided. You'll have to be there to find out. But Joel Redman will also be in action, Martin.
Indeed, whoever takes up the open challenge against Joel Redman, they are in for a wrestling clinic.
And of course, we just heard from Big Money, Bobby Vegas. He is the new competitor. He may have bought his way into that championship match, but he's got fighting talk, fighting words, and he is determined and focused. We could be looking at the new Risen champion when he takes on Benjamin Stone on January the 25th, Martin.
Indeed. Now, Benjamin Stone, as you say, a fighting champion, but this is arguably the biggest challenge of his career. Certainly the biggest man he's ever faced.
January the 25th. You need to be there. Just follow the details, scrolling along the bottom of the screen, or scan the QR codes on screen where you can be there for Risen Live 8. Live from Hamworthy in Poole. Some of the very best talent from the South and from across the UK will be there. And I'll be there. Martin will be there. And just go to wegottickets.com/RisenPW. We can get your ticket or tickets today. And as we said at the very top of this show, Martin, it's going to be a family-friendly show. So take your grandma, take your grandpa, take your uncle and aunt, your mum, dad, and all the kids, because it's going to be a fantastic wrestling show from Hamworthy in Poole, January the 25th. I'm going to be there. Martin's going to be there. And we hope that you are too. But Martin, as one final, you're a salesman. I know you're a salesman. Sell it to the public at home. Tell us why we should be there, my friend.
Risen Pro Wrestling has proven time and time again to be one of the loudest crowds that I have ever worked in. The atmosphere at a Risen Pro Wrestling show is second to none. And we're presenting to you 6 incredible matches. Every match on the card is different, featuring some of the top talent in the UK. Risen Pro Wrestling is going to grow and grow in 2025. If you don't buy your tickets early, you might not even get in at all. So get those tickets booked.
Martin, I couldn't have said it better myself, but thank you so much for being a wonderful co-host. And I'm sure we'll have many more of these, but stay tuned to Risen Socials for more information about this show and future shows. But you want to be down there, you want to be a part of it, scan the QR code on screen and be a part of it. Risen Pro Wrestling from Hamworthy in Poole. And I can't wait. But Martin, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. And we'll see you at the show, my friend.
Okay, see you on Showtime.